welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Figuring Out Epilepsy. I really want to give a shout out to everyone that supports me on social media, on my podcast, who shares, likes everything I do. Truly appreciate it. You guys are amazing. If you are new to Figuring Out Epilepsy and my page and my podcast, welcome. Glad to have you. Don't forget to like and share. For today's episode, I want to talk about something that happened to me this past weekend. Saturday was a very chill day for me. I honestly wasn't doing much. I was honestly just mostly in bed all day and cleaning. But Saturday night, I turn on a movie. I get all my yarn and start crocheting as I normally do. You know, when I'm having a really chill day, I love to crochet. It's something that I've been doing for 7 years now. 7 years. And it's something that gets me out of my head. It helps me relax. It refocuses me to what I am doing at that moment rather than thinking about all my problems. It really helps me, center myself in a way, I guess you can say. But all that was ruined when I opened my Instagram DMs. When that night, Saturday night, when I opened my Instagram DMs, I found a video of strobe lights. And as soon as I opened it, which is kind of weird, to be honest, why is it like that with those videos? But as soon as I opened it, it started flashing. It started, having all these crazy patterns. And I am not photosensitive. I have said this on my podcast. I have said this on other people's podcasts. I am not photosensitive. I can have a rave in my face and not have a seizure. However, I think it was the mere shock of it, to be quite honest. I'm not honestly sure. But that video did give me a slight headache that night, and I was not able to crochet the rest of the night. I had to put my stuff aside, and I had to just lay there and relax and rest and, recover from that video that I received on Saturday night. I did post about it on Instagram. I told the epilepsy community that if this account sends you anything, just delete it, block them. They are sending people with strobe lights. They're sending people in the epilepsy community videos of strobe lights. And I want to talk about it because it's not a new thing. This has been happening for a while. I am new to this whole social media and podcasting thing. I started my social media March 2023. I started my podcast November 1st, 2023. So this is all new to me, but I know that this has been happening for a while to the epilepsy community on social media. If you follow SoCal Epilepsy, which you absolutely should, she's hilarious. I love her. She's so informational. Her name is Brie. If you follow her, you'll know that this has happened to her quite a few times, actually, quite a few times. And what's the worst thing about this whole thing is that when we report it, when we try to do something about it, rather than getting the support from Instagram, I'm calling you out, Instagram, legit, calling you out. When we try to do something about it, we end up getting in trouble. We end up getting messages saying there's nothing against Instagram's guidelines for them to do anything about it. If you know anything about seizures, you'll know that strobe lights is a trigger for some people with seizures. Some people can have a seizure from watching that video, and a seizure can lead to death. A seizure can cause someone to pass away, and you're going to tell me that those videos isn't against your guidelines? Seriously, seizures is not something to take lightly. Seizures is not something to just brush under the table. We can pass away from it. We get hurt from it. I have gotten hurt so many times. My last tonic-clonic seizure was terrifying for me and my family. And what happened was it was probably like 9 o'clock that night, and my eyes started twitching consistently. For me, that's the beginning sign of a tonic-clonic seizure, when my eyes twitch consistently. But for whatever reason, whenever I feel like I'm going to have a tonic-clonic seizure, I always have to use the restroom. It's been happening since I was diagnosed with epilepsy. I always have to use the restroom when I'm about to have a seizure. My family absolutely hates it. They get mad at me, honestly, because I've fallen so many times in the bathroom. So many times. And this last time, I'm about to have a seizure, so I go into the restroom. I lock the door behind me. So I lock myself in, as someone does when they use the restroom. They lock the door. And as I was using the restroom, I had a seizure. I fell forward and hit my head on the tub. This is why I have a scar in the middle of my eyebrows, because I hit my head on the tub and I started bleeding, and I was having a seizure and just bleeding everywhere. My mom and my younger brother were not able to get into the restroom. They were pounding on the door, trying to wake me up, trying to get me to open the door, and I was not responsive. I was passed out on the floor bleeding from my seizure. Right when my brother was about to break down the door, I somehow opened the door. Now, if my family was not able to get to me, I could have passed away. If I hit my head the wrong way, I could have passed away. My daughter could have lost her mother. And this is what makes me mad about those strobe lights videos, is that it's essentially a threat to our lives. Those type of videos is a threat to our lives. Like I said, we can pass away from a seizure, from the seizure itself, not just hitting your head like I do, but the seizure itself can cause us to lose our life. And yet people decide to send those videos, and social media, especially Instagram, because I've experienced it more on Instagram, don't want to do anything about it. Make that make sense to me, because I just don't get how someone threatening you, as ridiculous as you may think it is for a strobe light video to be a threat, it is. When someone threatens you, that should automatically ban their account. We shouldn't have to go through all these precautions. You're supposed to, as Instagram, supposed to make the people who use your app safe. You are not doing your job. You are not helping the epilepsy community stay safe. For a lot of people in the epilepsy community, social media is their only way of socializing, because they can't work, they can't drive, they can't just leave their house whenever they feel like it. They're out here having seizures. They are stuck in their homes. And the only way for anyone in the epilepsy community to really socialize is through social media. And you're not even helping us to stay safe. You're saying it's not against your guidelines. I seriously am calling Instagram out, and I really need an answer from you guys, because the fact that you will go out here and ban Bree's account for cussing these people out who threaten our lives, instead of the people who are actually threatening our lives, I need to understand why. Because as of right now, I do not get it. I do not understand it. And I don't agree with it. I think those people who don't have a life, because those people who are sending us strobe light videos don't have a life, for you to really take time out of your day to threaten someone, go get a life. Honestly, go get a life. You are absolutely disgusting if you think that's funny. I do not think it's funny. No one in the epilepsy community think it's funny. People that I've known, that I just met through this whole social media journey, do not think it's funny. One of my friends, actually, I'm not going to put him out on blast like that, but one of my friends messaged this person asking him, what's wrong with you? This person has the audacity to respond to him and was like, I hope your biatch, I'm not going to cuss because I don't cuss. I hope your biatch had a seizure. So you can see the intent behind that person. You can see that person was really trying to cause me harm, was really trying to cause me to have a seizure, thinking that it's hilarious. It's not funny. It's disgusting that people are out there thinking that way. And it's disgusting that no one is doing anything about it. Instagram isn't helping us. Social media isn't helping us, because it doesn't happen just on Instagram. It has happened on TikTok as well. I don't know about Facebook, because honestly, I'm not on Facebook like that. But as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, it has been happening on Instagram and it has been happening on TikTok. And the fact that no one bans these accounts from doing it is absolutely disgusting. Why do I have to go on a podcast to call you guys out? Why do I have to make a whole ass episode on social media and on my podcast to call you guys out and let you know you guys need to step it up? You guys need to do something to protect those of us in the epilepsy community. Because honestly, there's a lot of us on there who just want to feel somewhat normal. You're taking that away from us. You're taking our safe place of interacting with other people in the epilepsy community, of socializing. You guys you guys have these platforms, and your platforms is for everybody, right? I'm going to assume. That's what I'm assuming. These social media platforms are for everyone. So why aren't you making everyone safe? Why aren't you helping those of us in the epilepsy community when we go to you, telling you that this is what's going on? Rather than saying it's not against your guidelines, why don't you ban those accounts? Why don't you put an end to it? You have that power. As the people who are in charge of social media, you have that power. And yet you're doing nothing about it. Rather than helping us in the epilepsy community, you're out here banning us for sticking up for ourselves. Really? Because that's exactly what happened to SoCal Epilepsy, aka Bree. She's just as sick of it as I am. And I've been doing this less time than she has. She has been on social media a lot longer than me and has gotten a lot more of those strobe light videos than I have. And every single time she cusses them out, and guess what happens? She gets banned. Make that make sense to me, because I don't understand why she's out here getting banned when she's just standing up for herself. Explain that to me. All you people in charge of Instagram, of TikTok, of Facebook, of social media, explain that to me. Because immediately banned when we try to stick up for ourselves, or when other people try to stick up for us. Why are we out here getting banned when we're the ones who are getting these threats? Because that's what it is. These strobe light videos are a threat to our lives. It's not something to take lightly. There are people who are photosensitive. There are people who would have had a seizure if they would have saw that video. So you're going to tell me that it's okay for someone to cause intentional harm over social media and have them have a seizure, potentially passing away from that seizure, potentially losing their family, losing a loved one? Because guess who I leave behind if I were to have a seizure and pass away? I leave my daughter behind. My daughter's 13 years old. She needs me. She needs her mom. Guess who else I'm leaving behind? My parents, my brothers, my aunts, my uncles, all my friends, all the people who love me. If I were to pass away, and it goes for every single person in the epilepsy community, there's someone somewhere out there who have a relationship. It's not like we're living in these individual bubbles where no one cares about us. There's people who care about us, people that I have met this year out here standing up for me because of this. There are people who I met this year who I consider sisters, and yet you aren't, and yet social media isn't doing anything to protect us. What is wrong with that picture? What is wrong with you having this platform, having the power to help us, helping us stay safe, helping us stay alive, and you guys aren't helping us? You guys aren't doing anything about it, but rather you're banning our accounts because we're just out here trying to help other people in the epilepsy community. That doesn't make sense to me. In the UK, there's a law called Zach's Law. It helps people in this situation. It helps people in the epilepsy community to not be threatened, to not be bullied over social media. You would think that we would have a law like that over here in the US. Why don't we? Why isn't this like a universal law around all parts of the world? Why are we allowing threats and bullies and these trolls to do harm to those of us in the epilepsy community? There's 65 million people around the world with epilepsy. 3.5 million just in the US. That's a lot of people. That is a lot of people. And a lot of those people use social media. A lot of those people stay connected to the epilepsy community through social media. That is their only way of socializing. And yet you're not going to do anything to help us. I'm honestly calling out social media. I'm calling out Instagram. I'm calling out TikTok. I'm calling out Facebook. I'm calling out all you guys because I really need to understand. You need to let me know, why is it okay for someone to threaten my life on your platforms? Why is that okay? Because I don't understand it. I don't understand why you guys just sit there and do nothing about it. Explain yourselves. Because I haven't been doing this that long. I haven't been on social media that long, but I'm sick of it. I'm sick of a person ruining my day because they decide to send me a video of strobe lights. And like I said, I'm not photosensitive. I can have strobe lights in my face. But that video definitely gave me a slight headache. I definitely had to stop what I was doing, enjoying my Saturday evening, and just try to get some sort of rest to recuperate from this video that was sent to me. I don't know who this person was. I have nothing to do with them. And I don't want anything to do with them. I think it's absolutely disgusting that they really take the time out of their day to send someone with epilepsy a strobe light video. And that really shows a person's ignorance, honestly. That really shows your ignorance, because you really think that every person with epilepsy can get a seizure from those strobe light videos. We're not all photosensitive. And the fact that that misconception is still out there and people think that everyone with epilepsy will have a seizure from strobe light videos. That shows your ignorance. That shows the kind of person you are. Like, honestly, get a life. Get a life. Because it's absolutely disgusting. I shouldn't have to be out here on my platforms warning people in the epilepsy community about you, about the possible threat you have on their lives. I shouldn't have to do that. That should not be something that I should be out here talking about. First of all, you need to, like I said, get a life, leave me alone because I'm doing great. And second of all, social media, you really need to step up your game. You really need to do something when we out here reporting these threats, these bullies. You can't just sit there, because one day one of those videos, if it hasn't happened already, one day one of those videos will cause a death and blood will be on your hands. That's all I'm going to say on that. So I really hope that social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everyone just gets it together and start helping the epilepsy community, because I am absolutely sick of this. I'm done. It's ridiculous. So I'm sorry, I'm like all fired up. I'm honestly like fuming. I don't like to get like this. I am not someone who's like this. I'm normally a chill person, but this has seriously irritated me. So you guys saw this side of Sam. That's not always nice. That's not always, happy and go lucky. You saw that fiery side of me that most people don't get to see. Now everyone's gonna see it. Anyways, I'll catch you guys on the next episode. My epilepsy community, be safe, stay safe, especially on those social media platforms. I'm trying my best to help everyone, but I could only do so much. I could only help so much when it comes to these type of people on social media threatening our lives. So I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.